This week we take a walk on the wild side of the African Crested Porcupine. Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of The Wild Side, and we are talking all about the African Crested Porcupine. Now this is Sahara and Scarlet. They come from a San Antonio-based nonprofit organization called Zoomagination. You can check them out at zoomagination.com and learn about all the rescued animals that they care for on a daily basis. I can't thank them enough for letting us come to the ranch so many times to show off their amazing animals. Native to Central and Southern Africa, the African Crested Porcupine can also be found as far north as the lower parts of the Sahara Desert. Hey, do you want some more of this banana? Take a look at this, right off the peel. There you go, buddy. Now, African Crested Porcupines are a rodent. If you look really closely at their small eyes, you'll see that kind of rodent face. Large nose, great ability to smell. Small eyes, however, mean really poor eyesight. The animals aren't really able to see very far or for long distance. They also have ever-growing teeth, really large teeth that are constantly growing, and they need to use their teeth to grind down different parts on rocks or on logs. Look how gentle though the teeth are. It's actually eating around the banana peel and scooping the meat of the banana out, and it'll leave the peel behind. African Crested Porcupines frequently feed upon fruits, vegetables. They've even been known to eat grubs, and here's the creepy part. They've even been known to rob cemeteries because of the bones. They're constantly working their teeth down. So they'll chew on bones and extract different parts of bone marrow. And different porcupine dens in Africa human remains have actually been found and raided from cemeteries nearby. Isn't that creepy? They're amazing animals though. Check out their ears right on the side of their head. Very good sense of hearing. These animals are a big predatory item. A lot of different predators will sneak up on porcupines, except they're not really ready to deal with this. Look at that. These big quills, well over 500 quills make up the back of this animal. Towards the tip of the quills are these hair-like quills called feeler quills. Now these help the animal to feel as a predator sneaks up. So if I'm a lion and I'm getting close and I hit these feeler quills, they're able to lift up their quills. They can actually lift up their quills and flex them up to about here. Now, if you look at the back of the tail here, they have hollowed quills that they rattle just like a rattlesnake to warn off their predators. But if that doesn't work, the porcupine can then shoot its quills. No, I'm kidding. That's a big myth. They can't shoot their quills at all. In fact, even if I went, go, it can't shoot them off like a missile. That's not the way these quills work. They actually have to back up into a predator for these quills to detach from their body and go into the predator. Now, what predators have found a successful way to hunt a porcupine? Well, there's quite a few. The first big one are the leopard. What the leopard will do is he'll sit high in the tree, and then right as the porcupine comes underneath, it jumps and gets the porcupine right up front, right near the head and the neck. So the quill defense didn't work for that predator. Lions are also a very unique species that are able to hunt porcupines. You see, one lion will distract, say, hey, I'm over here, I'm over here. The porcupine will flex its quills towards the lion while the other lioness comes in and finishes the kill. So those are the two predators that really have gotten effective at hunting porcupines. But these quills are formidable for all the other predators that don't work cooperatively or with such a high impact strike. Now the quills here are made of the same things that your fingernails are made out of. And if one quill were to fall out, which could very easily happen even right now, it'll just be regrown underneath. If you look deep into the quills, you can see there's some short, there's some long. But what's interesting about African Crested Porcupine quills is they're smooth tipped. Whereas here in North America, the North American porcupine, like this one right here, that North American porcupine has a barbed quill. So as soon as that quill goes in, well, it's almost impossible to pull out without taking more than you need to. Think of it like a stingray. As it goes in, you pull out, those barbs hang on to your flesh and your internals. It's very painful. Now, obviously, these animals are moving around a lot during dusk and dawn. That's what we're filming right now when they're nice and comfortable, darker time. However, during the day, they do find themselves in burrows. They go underground, they dig these massive burrows, and they use their quills as a defense if anything comes into those burrows. They'll also steal other animals' burrows. In fact, oh, hey, you run out of banana? Now, if you look right here, look at these quills. So that's what you're looking at if you come into the den of an African crested porcupine. Now, another really interesting thing about these animals is they are crepuscular, so dusk and dawn, but also nocturnal, moving around at night looking for food. But during the day, that's when they're gonna bed down to stay out of that African sun. Again, found from the Saharan Desert southern borders all the way down to Central and Southern Africa. Now, once you get to deep South Africa, then you find the Cape Crested Porcupine. These animals are an incredible species. However, they are not an endangered species. They're not even threatened. They're actually of least concern. They have a lot of babies when they have a litter. And a lot of people ask me, how does a porcupine have a baby? Well, that's a good question. When these animals are born, these quills are very few and far between, and they're basically like spaghetti noodles. They're very, very limp spaghetti noodles, cooked noodles. So after they're born, it takes a few hours and those quills will begin to harden. And they're only born with a few quills. And then as they age, those quills become even more intense. Now, earlier we talked about North American porcupines and the differences in the tip of the quill. North American porcupines are also different because of the amount of quill coverage. If you look at this animal, from the back half of its body is where those quills are. But the front half is all just this hair, this coarse hair. Well, a North American porcupine is covered head to toe in quills, except for one small patch on the belly. They're also about the size of a basketball, where this animal can grow as large as 50 or 60 pounds. Now, again, porcupines, not an endangered species. They are a threatened species due to habitat loss, but their numbers are fine. It's their habitat that is threatened. Africa has these sprawling plains, gorgeous environment, tons of species. But ever so slowly, we humans are encroaching on their habitat and forcing them out of the environments that they typically call home. You can help that. You can reduce what you use, recycle, and when you move into a new place, let's say you're moving into a rural location, you can realize that you are displacing wildlife. So you can set up some fun things for wildlife to encounter in your backyard. Bird feeders, owl boxes, bat boxes, and for porcupines, keeping up some of your big trees in your yard here in the United States would really help them get up away from predators. But if you're in Africa, if you're watching this in Africa, first of all, thank you for watching. But second of all, you have to remember that the species that live in your backyard, they're a part of the community too, and you can help them out. And some of the simplest things you can do, especially if you're in Africa, is just drive a little slower down the highway. Highways were cut through the savannah, and now animals like this who have very poor eyesight might not see that headlight coming at them or that car coming at them, so they are often killed in road strikes. And as you can tell with the porcupine's quills, sometimes puncturing the tire does involve some very severe injury to the people that hit the porcupine as well. So everyone can be more careful, driving a little slower in your native spaces. Look at this animal. Isn't it incredible? So excited to bring the African Crested Porcupine to you this week on the Wild Side. Hey, as always, if you have any questions about this species, leave me a comment below. I'll answer every and all questions I can about African Crested Porcupines and any of the other animals you've seen on our show. Also, subscribe right here on YouTube to get all of the future show information and to see all of our old shows that we've already posted. Make sure to click on the link for zooimagination.com in our description below so you can learn more about how you can bring the wild kingdom into your own imagination. Thank you so much for taking a walk on the wild side with us. That porcupine's going to look for more food, and I think I'll join him. He really knows how to get to the point. We'll see you next week on the Wild Side. For now, Clay saying conservation rules, take care of wildlife, and I'll see you next week.